Budget Director Mick Mulvaney said today that the Congressional Budget Office will have a full scoring of the GOP health care plan by Monday. But White House spokesman Sean Spicer just warned today about relying on COB calculations based on their record. Take a listen.
If you're looking at the CBO for accuracy, you're looking in the wrong place. I mean, they were way, way off last time in every aspect of how they scored and projected Obamacare. So the idea that we're waiting for a score, it will be scored, but the idea that that's any kind of authority based on the track record that occurred last time is a little far-fetched.
Now, someone who just might have bristled a little at Spicer's comments is the former Congressional Budget Office Director under President G.W. Bush, Douglas Holtz-Eakin. Doug, it is hard to argue Spicer's point that they really screwed up the scoring of Obamacare, didn't they?
Look, I think they did the best they could. I've been in the same position. You know, I had to do the prescription drug bill under Bush, and we came off, 30% off. These things happen. I think the important thing here is that the CBO was created to serve the Congress. And, the executive branch has the Office of Management Budget, and Sean Spicer can go talk to them about what he'd like them to do. The CBO is going to deliver to the Congress what they need to do their job.
Right.
And I think at this point, the sort of politics of the Democrats huffing and puffing about CBO scores makes obvious sense to me.
Yeah.
But in terms of the substance, the reconciliation bill, the one that you actually vote on, comes out of the Budget Committee. It'll be put together after Ways and Means and Energy and Commerce are done. There will be a score on that bill before they vote, and it'll be business as usual.
But here's the problem with scoring in general, and specifically with regard to health care. There's so many variables involved in health care costs, so many that even if you're a genius and have the best computers in the world, you can't figure in all the things that might happen when you begin to fiddle. For example, I doubt seriously whether they knew that deductibles were going to go up to $12,000 on the bronze plan, for example, and that cost wasn't calculated into the final COB cost of Obamacare, right?
They couldn't have anticipated that the Obama administration would change the rules every day for
there's that as
seemingly
well.
months. And so that was impossible.
Yeah.
So I think the right way to think about what they do is they try to put the estimate in the middle of the range, so they're just as likely to be too high as they are too low, and acknowledge the limitations of forecasting the future. That's a reality.
It is limited. Now, you're involved now with an organization that does some polling, particularly of Republican views, and there's a lot of talk in the media about how Republicans are falling away from the Trump plan, et cetera. There's one very interesting poll that your organization was involved in. Republican, again, these are primarily Republican voters. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but 77% of them think that tax reform is very or extremely important. Now, the longer we fiddle around with health care, the longer it's going to be before we get tax reform, and we might not get it until 2018. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think that would be a big mistake, and we haven't heard anyone even breathe that possibility in either the House, Senate, or White House. So, they're going to move ahead with the health care legislation. They'll turn next to the tax reform. It'll be likely done in the same way, in, quote, reconciliation with Republican votes only. And so what Republican voters think of that is very important. And this is very different than the results we got a couple years back when Obama was the president and Dave Camp was heading the chairman. He was chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. There was no enthusiasm for tax reform then. Here, people see the possibility of something that can dramatically change the trajectory of growth in the United States. Nearly 80% support it in the abstract, and nearly 80% support it in the specifics.
Doug,
so
they're giving me a wrap, but I have
difference.
to ask you this question before you go. What's the possibility that we get full tax reform signed, sealed, and delivered by August, right after the repeal of Obamacare?
That would be parting the Red Sea and walking. But
you don't think it's possible?
Getting it done this year would be a fantastic accomplishment.
All right. Doug